Dear friends in Jesus Christ, we are in the 27th Sunday in ordinary time. In today's gospel, we see Jesus talks about divorce, which is the main problem that we face in today's society. So, Jesus is calling us to stay united, do not go for divorce. God has joined together, let no man separate. In today's gospel, we see Pharisees came to Jesus and raised the question, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife? When we analyze the life of Pharisees, they are the people who followed the Mosaic law very minutely. So they wanted to test Jesus, they raised this question. By knowing their thoughts, Jesus asked another question. What did Moses command you? So they answered that Moses allowed the man to write a certificate of divorce and send her away. And when we analyze this particular divorce, it was a hot topic during the time of Jesus. Many rabbis, Pharisees and the teachers of the law sit together and discuss about this topic, divorce. During the time of Jesus, there were two groups of schools. One is Shammai, another one is Hillel. The both schools speak about divorce. Shammai school speaks about divorce as an uncleanliness, which means if a wife is committing adultery, then the husband can divorce his wife. Other than that, he cannot divorce his own wife. Whereas the Hillel group speaks about each and every act of the woman is very much important. If a wife is not cooking properly, then husband can divorce his own wife. If a wife is speaking with a stranger on the road, then the husband can divorce his wife. And if a wife is speaking loudly in the house, then the husband can divorce his wife. More than that, if husband sees any beautiful girl than his own wife, then the husband can divorce his wife. So that was a common understanding of Jesus' time. But Jesus was considered to be one of the rabbi or the teacher. So they wanted to know what is his understanding about divorce. They did not want to learn new things from Jesus. They did not want to learn new knowledge from Jesus. But they wanted to test Jesus. Because if he is going against the Mosaic law, then they can call him as a heretic, so that they can put him in the prison and finish his life. And if he is saying that we should not go for divorce, then he is going against King Herod, who divorced his wife. So they can finish his life very easily. By knowing their thoughts and minds, Jesus answered them very prudently. Jesus told them that it is because of your hardness of heart Moses allowed you to go for divorce. When we analyze this particular sentence, God has brought the people from the slavery. In the many places we see that the people crumbled against God. They crumbled against God for food, water and security. It is because of their hardness of heart they crumbled against God. And because of the hardness of God, Moses allowed the people to go for divorce. Now, Jesus is going beyond the Mosaic law and talks about the purpose of creating man and woman by God. In the first reading, we see God is creating a man from the dust and God is creating the woman from the rib bone of a man. It is because God has created both of them to stay united. And she becomes the bone of his bones. And she becomes the flesh of his flesh. If the person understands that, then he will not go for divorce. He will not go for against his own flesh or his own bone, that is wife. So God has created them to stay united. So the husband will leave his father and mother and hold on his wife, so that they will become one. They will not consider to be two bodies, but they will be considered to be one body. God has joined together, let no man separate them. So this was the response of Jesus to Pharisees. Now Pharisees cannot go against Jesus' words, because if they are going against the words of Jesus, they are going against the words of God. So they are committing sin. So Jesus is telling us that if a husband is divorcing his wife, is going to marry another woman, then he is committing adultery. If a wife is going for a divorce against the husband and marrying another man, then she is committing adultery. So Jesus focused on the stay united, do not go for divorce. And Jesus understood the suffering of the women in his time, because it is the women who suffered a lot during the time of Jesus. Now Jesus is not talking morely about divorce, but he is valuing the marriage, because many a times we see in today's society the divorce became a common thing. It became a cup of tea, and they did not value the real meaning of marriage, and they failed to keep up the promise that they have made in front of the Lord during the time of marriage. And the marriage becomes the pleasure, and the marriage becomes the one of the way to gratify their own pleasures. So marriage is not given more important, and they fight for silly reasons. Then they get separated for silly reasons, because they are not able to understand each other, they are not able to love each other, they are not able to accept one another. When the struggle comes, when the problem arises, they are not able to stand together, because there is no ground for the responsibility of love and understanding among them. So Jesus is calling us to stay united, to love one another, to understand each other, and to be with one another in the time of suffering. So God has joined together, let outside forces like pleasures, sexual gratifications, illegal relationships, anger, misunderstanding, jealous, and enmity should not come to separate them. So let us pray for this grace to the Lord, to stay united, do not go for divorce, and to live a life to love one another, to understand each other, and stay united as God has created them.